Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out a very cool little time-traveling puzzle platformer called Being Time by developer TD2TL. It's a game from the Construct 2 jam, of course using the engine Construct 2, and it's a rather artful, kind of cool looking game with a neat mechanic where essentially there's going to be some clones of ourselves following us in the place that we used to walk, hence the time mechanic. And, just kind of a nice presentation as well as a very lovely soundtrack, so I figured this one would be a nice one to show you. I hope you enjoy it, and let's have a quick look, shall we? So we're going to be using arrow keys. That is all there is in this one. Left, right, and up. Up is jump. Jump also happens to correspond to a wall jump, so you can use that if you need to. There is a little note in the bottom left corner there. Avoid from yourself, so you want to avoid the clones that will show up, and here's us. So as you can see, a very lovely presentation. Things are very colorful. There's some very cool looking little luminescent runes that seem to be glowing all over the place, and it gives me a bit of a feeling of like some of the moments that seem to occur occasionally in Fez, I suppose, with maybe a little bit of a Limbo-esque main character, I suppose. So welcome to Time Travel Experiment. Thank you for volunteering. Good luck. And let's jump into the first level here. So as you can see, things only move when we move. And normally that's not too much of a problem, but after a certain amount of time, you'll see our clones start to show up, and they follow this little vector path that we've laid out for ourselves, and eventually they shall jump over to me, and as long as I keep myself moving in a way that makes some sense, they're not going to run into me. And first level, not too big of a problem. Really not too many ways you can screw that one up unless you just happen to stand in the same place for too long, but that's just to introduce the mechanic of what you need to do to avoid yourself as you go. So as long as I stand still, nothing at all will happen. I can sit there, my eyes will blink, everything's cool, everything's chill. Why don't we see if we can maybe figure out what we're supposed to do with this particular situation? Well, this is tutorializing to us that there's sometimes going to be an impediment that is sort of time-locked, and as you can see, after we walked a little bit and caused enough time to pass, that door did actually vanish, and that allowed us to walk through. Now, not too big of a deal, really. Level 2 is just, again, getting you acclimated, but eventually most of the levels will end with a door, and I've only played maybe about 6 or so levels of this, so I didn't get very far into it. I'm not sure how many levels there are in total, but I definitely enjoyed the premise, and I liked that there's maybe a little bit of a behind-the-scenes storytelling element going on as well. As you can see in the background, occasionally little gestures will be made. So I'm doing a lot of walking back and forth here. I can also do some jumping if that's more effective, just to pass the time, because I just need to keep some kind of kinetic motion going on. For this one, I'm just going to try and jump in place until these guys show up, and you'll see there's actually a little timeline going at the door in the bottom right corner. So once that timeline ticks up to a distance that we should be able to sneak under, I think we should be ready to go and escape this level. Now, so far nothing has gotten too complicated, but it's mostly just because I understand this concept and I've already gone through these levels. The first time I did it, I did actually get hit by a few of these guys just because I was making some kind of poor moves. So there seems to be a lady in the background, and she seems to be reverse crying, so I guess that is our cue to remember while everything seems to be happening backward. Now let's watch what these guys do, because when I went through this level before, they seemed to sort of make some derivations to the vectors that I had laid out before them. Maybe that's not actually happening. I thought a couple of them seemed to have run ahead, but I think they're all just working through their own individual timelines, and that's totally fine. So we're just going to run right through that one to the exit. And now we've got a couple of gear blocks that we need to deal with. Now, if I jump straight off of this, I can do a wall jump and basically just jump right on top of that thing and everything's cool. But this guy's going to show up and he's going to get on top of that block very quickly. So I have a lot more time I need to pass, and if I get myself stuck on the bottom left corner of things, well, I'm probably not going to make it in much time. And now let's watch the vectors of these guys and make sure that, yep, alright, want to make sure I get out of the way. I left myself a little bit of an opening there, though, with the fact that I had that wall jump happening off that one side block. I really like the pastel nature of the background. Everything's sort of sleepy, dreamy, kind of ghostly in a way. It feels like you're walking through a memory or something, which I suppose is probably part of the idea here. And I'm just making really poor movements. But yeah, the music as well really sets the tone. It might feel a little bit like a medieval sort of soundtrack, which I'm not sure necessarily fits what I expected it to fit, but it does work. Just perhaps I would have imagined more pads or more just like dreamy style music. Although this is not, it's not too far off from where I would have thought. And I'm just going to jump in place here until I'm good to go. Yeah, we should be able to leave. So now we've got something rather interesting and something rather unexpected. We've got some blocks that are going to fall from the ceiling here, as well as the usual clone characters that are going to show up. And what I've noticed is each time you do this, as you'll see here, each presentation of these blocks seems to be slightly different. So you can't quite rest on some sort of pattern with this one, which I find very entertaining and kind of like a great challenge in and of itself. This particular level could be its own game in a way, just because this is such a weird challenge that you now have to imagine where you're going to be, not knowing in advance where you need to plan out for later. So I'm just trying to give myself all the room that I can at the beginning, because I know I'm not going to get that luxury later when things start falling from all sides. Then I'm going to move over to the middle a little bit more, and it seems like the blocks are actually moving with me wherever I happen to be standing. They seem to be falling down on my head, which I guess is some bad luck on my part. And okay, we made it through that one. That was actually the level that I had gotten stuck on just because I didn't give it all that much time before I gave up. But what's going on in here is a crazy earthquake. Is time even passing anymore? Oh, I wonder if I'm probably just supposed to, like, wall jump down the side of this. Very difficult to do that, though. Oh, maybe I was just supposed to walk. Oh, what's this? There's a little wisp falling down from the sky, and everything seems to be almost inverted. Oh, okay, I see what happened here. So that was the seed of regret, perhaps. The game does say in the description it's a short game about time, hope, regrets, and other things. So yeah, I guess this is sort of a moment like that. A guy is sitting with, I guess, a significant other or some sort of an interest like that, and he happens to walk away. So we're sort of left not knowing which direction time was actually passing, and I suppose, I mean, it's kind of implied that he was walking away, but I suppose you could think that maybe he reversed it or something like that. Anyway, it's a short presentation, but I really enjoyed it. I think this is one of those games that could be definitely developed into something further. I know I say this all the time, but it had the right infrastructure, the right framework for the things that I like to see. You know, good frame rate, yeah, of course, good framework for graphics, audio. Controls were fine. There was basically not much of anything to them. I think, if anything, maybe just the concept here was not fully fleshed out, and that there could have been some more interesting challenges that happened. And the way that the whole world started to fall apart at the end sort of lead me to believe that maybe there was going to be a whole bunch more strange and sort of derivative, you know, riffs on that same concept, and it's just kind of disappointing that we didn't get to go down that road. But I would definitely check out this developer and see some of his works in the future. Maybe we could develop this even further. I would definitely give it a play, and I could easily see this showing up on Steam for, like, as a $4.99 puzzle platformer or something like that, as long as it had, you know, enough meat to it that we actually could see things really develop. I could also see this easily getting some narrative a little bit more overtly strewn about between several of the levels. Not to say that it is absolutely necessary, but I could also see it working. Anyway, that's going to be it for Being Time. Super short game, but definitely enjoyable. Go give it a download if you'd like. It is totally free. Again, from the Construct 2 Jam, which I'm definitely going to have to check out, as well as this developer's other work, and see if there's some other stuff here that I might be interested in playing for future episodes. So, with that, I will leave you for another day. If you guys enjoyed the episode, consider leaving a like on it. It helps me out a whole bunch. And, of course, be sure to come back again tomorrow. New episodes of Indie Impressions go up daily, so I hope to see you back for another one. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a fantastic night. Talk to you later.